What's poppin', yo? Man, it's really not looking too hot for Young Thug on any front. As of late, I mean, I am kind of late to this, but it's still been going on. He's facing the GOAT sacrificing thing, which I've got a video coming out on if it hasn't dropped already. Not Young Thug sacrifice. There's more detail. The headline is Young Thug, something to do with GOAT sacrifice. But he dropped his album, Gunna dropped his album, and then at one point, I posted it on IG a couple weeks ago, the song F You Mean by Gunna was getting more daily streams on Spotify than Young Thug's entire album. And I mean, who's listening to Business is Business anymore? That album kind of came and went. It's a difficult situation that Young Thug was in, but I kind of want to talk about how surprising this is in the sense that this isn't even close. Like, sure, this is a hit song, so of course it's going to do a lot of streams, but I want to talk about in general how I like how I like how Gunna has moved post-release. He's just done everything right. We don't have to hear anything about him. We don't have to hear him do interviews, which I don't think he even can really, because there's still the element of him going back to jail because he's on conditional release, or no, actually I think he pled, so he already got a plea deal, which means he doesn't have to do jail time, so he just has to stay out of trouble. I don't know if he can talk about whatever's going on, because isn't there some clause that he might have to testify if it goes to trial, which it likely will, because didn't they say they don't even want to give Young Thug a plea deal? So that in and of itself is awful. Although we do need to talk about it also not being a surprise that Gunna is doing better than Young Thug when it comes to sales and streams. Number one, and people have been kind of framing this because they set it up poorly. So Young Thug fans tried to set it up like, yo, this is Gunna versus Young Thug, and the industry kind of tried to set it up like that too. Let's not just go for the Young Thug fans, where everybody was posting up the countdown and then the album dropped, so the industry was on Young Thug's side. But the truth is, Young Thug hasn't been more popular than Gunna since maybe So Much Fun. After that, Gunna has just cleared Young Thug. He's had more hits than him in the years even that they were free. He's done more features than him. He's been in higher demand for features than Young Thug. He's meshed well with, I was about to say DaBaby, with Lil Baby, as opposed to Young Thug, which it really reminds me how legendary that song OOK was. Like, it was kind of a meme because all three of them sounded identical, or they all sounded just like Young Thug. And in the beginning, I couldn't tell who was who from the verses and the hook. But that song was a monumental moment because, number one, Lil Baby blew up to crazy heights. And people would rather hear Gunna. Maybe not people would rather hear, but the demand and the outcome was that Gunna was on more tracks with Lil Baby and flowed or meshed well with him. So they had continuous hits. They even had pretty much an album together, which led to Young Thug collaborating with Lil Baby less. And Young Thug was kind of doing his own thing, focusing on his record label. Gunna was getting bigger. Gunna was doing a feature with everybody. I think it was 2020. Maybe that was the year, or 2021, where people were just saying, oh, every single person has got a Gunna feature this year. And I was hearing that he was letting them go for the low. Not for the low as in a really, really cheap price, but when you hear Gunna and you heard the feature price, you're like, oh yeah, like if we're a decently big artist, it's a no-brainer to get him on. That's why you see pretty much everyone with him. And people were saying that Gunna, I was about to say Young Gunna, that Gunna was easy to work with too, and he would do the music video, so the deal was great for the feature price. So Gunna continued to go up. Young Thug kind of neglected his career a bit, but he put a lot of hype on that album that had the song Bubbly on it. That's how you know I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff. Or I'm forgetting that album title. Or that's how you know the album title is forgettable. That whole album was forgettable. But he had stacked features on that thing. What was it called? It was Punk. That was the album. That's how you really, really know. That was in 2021. That was a very disappointing album. It had every feature under the sun. They had a lift deal. They had a crazy rollout for it. And I think that moment, he had features from Doja Cat, Mac Miller, J. Cole, Post Malone, A$AP Rocky. People say A$AP Rocky's not a big feature. Hey, look, listen, man, I'm biased, okay? I like A$AP Rocky. He had Ye on there. He had Juice WRLD, Drake, Travis Scott, and that album didn't do well. And I don't even think we got a hit. Like, it debuted at number one, but it didn't sell. I think it sold under 100K or around 90K. People didn't really like it too much. It hasn't stayed. It's not even top 3 Young Thug albums or projects. So I think this is where the tide really started to shift and everything went in Gunna's favor. And then he gets locked up. Young Thug can't put out music that would talk about any of the situation that he's been in, which is what people want to hear. Gunna can do that. Gunna dropped a really, really great album. I think Gunna has been making better music than Young Thug since at least 2019. But keep in mind that I didn't even really like So Much Fun like that. But by then, I'd been listening to everything Young Thug since 2014. So I had been kind of burnt out. I was Young Thugged out. Gunna's also a lot more palatable. I think he's refined Young Thug for the mainstream. There's more memes around Gunna. The Keeping It P thing was huge. That album was a defining moment for Gunna. DS4, I think that was DS4, yeah. So everything just was done right by Young Thug. It was like, yo, I'm going to take what I've got, I'm going to push it into my artist. He's going to blow up, and then I can chill and, collect off of him. And I don't want to stop him or block him from being bigger than me. And he became bigger than him, even before they got locked up. So now when Gunna is outstreaming, and it is a crazy headline for it to be true. It's like, yo, one song is outstreaming Young Thug's whole album, which is, yeah, that's kind of crazy. It is a hit, though, like I said earlier. But Gunna was already bigger. So I don't think this should be a surprise to anyone. I just think people thought, oh, yo, Young Thug's a real one. He didn't. Keep in mind, Young Thug had the opportunity to snitch on a total of 0 people. He's the guy that they want. So he didn't even get the opportunity. So we can't even use the, yo, Young Thug's real. He's holding it down. Now, Young Thug isn't complaining or, crying from jail or anything like that. He's taking it on the chin, going through the motions. I genuinely think maybe he's made peace with the fact that he's going to do time, unlike some other rappers that have been in his situation. But the passing of the torch happened. Young Thug did it. Some people will say Gunna is better than Young Thug. The majority of people I'm seeing say, all of them nearly, are saying Gunna's album is better than Young Thug's most recent album, which, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, what Young Thug had to do. He's got to make money too. From both ends. I think it was just a move to leverage the hype that Gunna had, who he's getting paid off of since he's on his record label, to at least make some money on his own album. I don't think Young Thug's going to drop anything else unless maybe he gets... Yeah, if Young Thug's not dropping anytime soon, there's no other reason to, unless maybe Gunna drops something. But at that point, people are waiting for a response from Thug, which he can't give. His hands are tied. Gunna pretty much came out with a win on this one. They definitely don't like each other anymore, which it's kind of sad. It will make for a great documentary. It could be even made into like a cartoon where this guy put you on, did everything for you. You don't end up going to jail. You snitch, whatever they want to call it, right? You told on him, or you gave information that wasn't favorable towards him. You get out. You're way bigger now. You're enjoying freedom, and he's locked in there, and we don't know how long it's going to last. With that being said, from my end, I've always said that this was going to be the case. The whole, this person kept it real. Sure, they might give him, a thumbs up, but that's not going to pay your bills. And they're definitely not going to listen to you if you're not producing a product that's as good. Now, if Young Thug came out with some fire, he was just rapping on the AI jail phone and was able to talk about what he could talk about, and then they just somehow rendered that into Young Thug's AI voice, and it came out like he was actually recording in a studio, and he was dropping heat, then yeah, it would probably be lights out for Gunna. But Gunna just dropped heat, man. We can't argue that. When it's fire, it's fire. And that's the problem that not Young Thug. That's the problem that 6ix9ine needs to understand is, people, number one, this is the power of being liked. And number two, Gunna didn't talk too much. The talking he did was in his music, and he dropped good music. Those are 3 things that 6ix9ine has struggled with. He has dropped good music before. It's been a long time since then. I haven't listened to the song with Kodak, so I don't know if that one's good yet. But 6ix9ine kind of blows his mana, his health bar, his skill tree, whatever you want to call it, anything that's not sus. He blows that early on IG Lives, breaking IG Live records, doing all that, when Gunna wasn't doing no damn IG Live. He's just like, yo, I'm just dropping this music. And that's always... having a really, really, really great product can take you so far, which 6ix9ine has kind of failed to work on for a long time. But when you have a great product and you're well liked, which 6ix9ine pretty much lost, then you're kind of unbeatable, no matter what you do or say, barring a couple of things that are universally held as, yo, we cannot rock with that. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.